Hello, I'm Joel Bair, the General Manager of Missoula Community Access Television, inviting you to this February edition of Missoula Live. I had a few things I wanted to talk to you about. One, I'm missing Kim. I think Kim just forgot to come. So Kim, if you're out there, you're at your office at Humanities, Montana, you've got MCAT on in the background, as many people in the intelligentsia do, come on down. It's never too late. I wanted to talk to you, dear viewer, about a few MCAT things before we turn our attention to our first guest. The first thing is that MCAT is open to the public. We have a tour and training opportunity on the second Wednesday of every month at 5:30 right here at MCAT 500 North Higgins. We're in Suite 105. We're right across from Missoula Textiles. We're right next to the Peak Performance Gym. So if you wanted to come here on February the 11th, this coming Wednesday at 5:30, you could learn what MCAT has to offer, this beautiful garage studio, our 5 Final Cut Pro 10 edit suites. We have 5 digital SLR cameras that we check out and 5 high definition video cameras that we check out with tripods and lights and microphones. So if you'd like to learn all about that, you could come to MCAT Wednesday, February the 11th, 5:30 p.m. Or you could come any second Wednesday of the month. We're holding these tours and training. So I understand that this program, it's going to go on for a while. Today is February 9th. This program will go on for 2 weeks. So if you've missed that, you're still interested in learning about being a public producer at MCAT, you could come any second Wednesday. Or if you're really in a hurry, give us a call, 542-6228, and you could get training anyway. The second thing I wanted to mention to you is that MCAT is in its 25th year, which is nothing compared to some organizations, as you'll soon find out. But MCAT started its first cablecast anyway on April the 22nd, which is Earth Day, 1990. So this April the 22nd, which will still be Earth Day, MCAT's having an open house from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., and you're more than welcome to come down and take a gander at what we'll have going on. We have a lot of video here, I think over 6,000 titles, so we'll probably make a kind of historic video of the different producers or situations or themes, and of course you'll see all the styles of the 90s, of the turn of the century, and here, well instituted into the 21st century. You'll see what goes on with your neighbors and friends. You're more than welcome to come. That is Wednesday, April the 22nd from 4 to 8 p.m. And then the third thing I wanted to mention, and Scott, you can feel free to show the website at this juncture if you're so inclined. Yes, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. MCAT Film Camp. So these are camps for kids between the ages of 9 and 13. That is a little negotiable. That, any cutoff is a kind of artificial thing. So if your kids are younger or older, you could talk to us about it. On our website that was just flashed to you with such graphic force that you may not have any clue what it is. There, it's a little S, right? It's the MCAT website at mcat.org. And there you will see the announcement of our summer camps. There's going to be 1 camp in June, 2 camps in July. And there may be additional camps in between these sparsely appointed camps, just in case. Last year we had so many kids sign up that we had to institute a second summer camp, and in another instance a third summer camp for a total of 6. So the camps are, in broad strokes, the one in June is going to be a pretty interesting wildlife filmmaking camp. Kate Davis, who has the Raptors of the Rockies Institute down in Florence, is going to let kids come and make mini documentaries about the various raptors that she has on the property. This includes like falcons and eagles and owls and peregrines and this sort of thing. They're really fascinating looking birds. So in that June camp, that's what kids are going to be doing. They're going to be making a little documentary about those critters. In July, kids have 2 opportunities. One, perhaps this is a little more like for quieter kids that like to be methodical. There's going to be a stop animation camp. The kids will use like wireframe, Play-Doh, the ever popular Legos, and taking still pictures, one at a time. They're going to create little stories, animations, music videos, and so on. Then the third camp, and the counselors are asking that the kids have some prior experience for this camp. That third camp is going to be a movie-making camp. It's very collaborative. The kids are only going to make one movie, and this is in the last week of July. They're going to make a scripted 10-minute thereabouts type movie together. So somebody can be the director, and somebody can be the camera person, and a bunch of people can be the performers, and certainly there's room for editors, kibitzers, and so on. Each one of the camps ends with a party on Friday that the caregivers, the guardians, the parents, the what have you, they're invited to come. And we have like a little pizza party at MCAT with a live show in which the kids introduce the work that they've made during the week. These are afternoon camps. They're going to be from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. The tuition for each of the camps is $110. The board of directors of MCAT have generously set aside some scholarship opportunities for parents or guardians in need, so feel free to talk to us about that. If you want to get the registration, you can look online. I don't think it's quite ready. It should be ready by the time this episode has seen its 2-week run. Or give us a call, 542-6228. We'll mail to you a consent form where you'd register and sign, which you can't really do online. I guess you could check terms of service. So that's all I have for MCAT to-doings, and we'll move right along to our very patient guest. Brandon Renches is here representing the Montana Museum of Art and Culture. Brandon, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, you're most welcome. So what about this 120-year business for the Montana Museum of Art and Culture?
It's a big year for us. We're celebrating our 120th anniversary, and we've put together the first ever handbook of the permanent collection, and then those 120 artworks that we selected for the 120 years, we've put into an exhibition that's showing now through May 23rd at the Paxson and Malloy Galleries.
Right. So, tell people where that is at the university campus.
Well, it's kind of tucked away, but if it's in the PAR TV building, the Performing Arts Radio and Television building, and if you are heading down 6th Street, it's the really large brick building that's got KUFM, as well as the 2 theaters, the Montana and the Masker Theater, just before the Adams Center. So.
And it's on the north side of this, facing sort of the Adams Center. Like if people were going there to get tickets, for plays and whatnot, they're right there next to
the box office.
Space.
Yep.
That seems really fascinating. I think I read an article in Missoulian or Indy about the difficulties of choosing 120, because how many are in the permanent collection of articles of art and whatnot?
It's an amazing collection that continually surprises me. Every time I look for work and I'll find something else, or I'll kind of stumble across a painting that I haven't given good consideration to. There's 11,000 objects in the permanent collection, so it's just enormous. There's never a dull moment with the collection. You turn around and there's another great piece staring right back at you.
I would bet. I mean, I'm just doing a little math in my head, like, I know there's 365 days in the year.
Yes.
So, if you wanted to hit 1,000, you'd have to look at like 2.5 of these 11,000 articles a year, but it would take, because you're saying to give consideration to it.
To each one.
You'd have to look at 2.5, really think about it each day, and if you were to do that, you would see the entire collection in 11 years.
It's slow, and we show a lot of the permanent collection. About half of our exhibitions are comprised of the permanent collection or include an aspect of it, and still we show less than 0.5% of the permanent collection. It's just, so we're, part of this, the focus of the exhibition is really, you'll see that the paintings are hung 10 inches apart, or, they're much too crammed together. We really need a building, and so that's part of what this is.
I've heard about that ambition for several years now, maybe a half dozen years, the ambition of the Montana Museum of Art and Culture to have their own building somewhere on campus.
Yes.
I see Scott's showing
great,
some things from the website.
It's an amazing permanent collection, and there's a spot on the website here that says Permanent Collection Online. I think it's the second tab down.
Okay.
And that has our database, and if you click on that, there's a little search function.
My goodness, he's doing it.
We've been cataloging the permanent collection, and 22% of the collection is cataloged to date, and we're working diligently to catalog the rest of it. And you can type in, if you know a print as part of the Ackerman print collection, for instance, if you type in Ackerman, all the Ackerman prints come up. And actually, right now, Catherine Mallory at the Gallery of Visual Arts is showing...
GVA, as we know it.
Yeah, the GVA has 2 exhibitions up, and one is the prints from the Ackerman collection from the Montana Museum of Art and Culture. And she said, well, I want to look at these prints so that I can put the show together. How should I do it? And I said, well, go to our website online, and you can pull them up, and it's got little thumbnails, and you'll be able to see kind of what's included in this wonderful collection. So.
Yeah, so you guys have been working really hard to make the collection available, even though you have no, building as of yet. Like in the sense of a museum where there's
a terrible
spaces.
problem.
Right.
It's how do you let people know who you are? How do you make the collection accessible when you don't have the space to do it? So really, I think the students will be better served, and the people of Montana will be better served once we have a place to call home and a way to show and share the collection with everyone.
And to explain to people too how the collection came about, right? Partly that people donate a lot of things to University of Montana over the years, like from 1895 forward, people would say, well, I donate my entire estate to University of Montana, and then poof, off they go. And then they're like, wow, they've got these really interesting prints, or they have this wonderful objects of art that was collected by their uncle during World War I or something.
It's true.
So stuff just got put in there. And in my day, as a graduate student of art in the 80s, I remember in the social sciences basement, Dennis Kern was like a student that was employed part-time. But he was going on about like, oh, there's all this stuff, and I've been trying to catalog it, with computers that people today would think extremely primitive, But he was taking a hand at it.
No, thank goodness for Dennis Kern, because he, when the collection was kind of dissipated throughout the campus, his efforts at identifying the work and gathering it back together really are what helped organize and save the collection. So he's a really important person. We're so glad to have him in Missoula, and he's a great colleague. We can ask him questions about the collection all the time.
That's terrific.
He's got this great historical knowledge.
Right, and so back then, this is just personal remembrance of my own, it looked like the effort he was undertaking was not exactly offhand, but as far as the administration of the college, when they're kind of like, well, this guy's trying to do something with this thing. So there was a certain informality about it, as the treasures grew and grew, as people donated things or the university acquired things, that perhaps there wasn't that vision back then, and you guys have the vision, but you also have that backlog, right?
Periodically, I think people have really tried to formalize the collection, and it's been a series of fits and starts.
Right.
And really, Dennis, I think part of his effort was to modernize how we track the records and everything like that, and it's really just an enormous collection and a great asset. It's been really fun, and that was the problem that we were trying to solve with the handbook, so to speak, was how do you let people know what's in the collection?
Yeah.
And so we, back in 2009 when I started, we started talking about a handbook so that people could explore this collection that belongs to every Montanan, really.
Right.
And for them to be able to become familiar with it, they need to know what's in it. And then it grew into the exhibition and really worked to celebrate our 120 years.
I hope you guys get somewhere with that dream. I mean, I guess things are in the works that, sometimes you don't talk about. You have big donors or whatever, so that the public's not in on every step of the way. But if people were interested, I guess if they saw that website, they could donate from the website, say, I want to earmark this toward the building fund or the cataloging fund or whatever it may be.
Or contact the director, Barbara Kustra, and she would be able to answer any questions about that. But it's been amazing since I've been here. Started in 2009.
Isn't that amazing? 6 years?
I know, it's
I would have thought it was like,
incredible.
Brandon, he just didn't
I just started, really.
Right.
But there's more momentum for this now than there ever has been. It's really,
Great.
really great. So, the exhibition's amazing. There's a little bit of something for everyone, with 120 works. You know, if you like Western art, we have Western art.
Yeah.
If you like icons, there's religious icons. So it's very, very diverse,
Wow,
and nobody goes
interesting.
away unhappy.
Yeah, because that was part of your charge, right? You had to choose 120 representing every year that the collection has been in existence, and you probably did want to show the scope.
Yeah, really the breadth of the
Right.
collection. It's not quite an encyclopedic collection, but there's great pockets of Southeast Asian textiles, and there's this wonderful collection of Japanese prints, and then there's the Montana modernists. So it's like, wow, how do you do this? How do you select objects that represent the breadth of the collection, or really how effective it could be as a teaching tool?
Yeah,
how
there you go.
do you show people that this is a great resource? So.
And do you know offhand the hours? I always worry, and that's just me being, I don't know, something. That people say, oh, University of Montana, that I worry about that separation between town and gown.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I get it myself. Like, as I say, I went there for 3 years as an MFA student, and, it seems like a lifetime ago.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even believe it's still there.
Well, the hours have changed since then.
Okay, yeah. Because I worry that people say, well, I used to go to the University of Montana, I'm aware it's there, but they never go, and there's this fantastic treasure there in all these respects, like concerts that occur.
Yeah,
and
a lot of culture
but
there.
certainly the MMAC is no exception to this.
Yeah.
So, and I
hear
think
about
people say,
parking.
Parking, yes.
Yeah, parking constantly in
Right.
hours. So
Yeah.
we do have limited hours, but we're open noon to 3, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And then
See, Saturday, there's a little room in
there is. And then we have 2 late nights for people getting off of work. Both Thursday and Friday we're open until 6.
Oh, bless you.
So that's kind of, and then we do have a dedicated parking space right in front of the Par TV building, and then there's lots of that free 20-minute parking.
Yeah, there is.
Right there. So,
and that field is, if there's not an event, like a concert or sporting
Yeah.
event, that's pretty big, and you can park pretty close to the Performing Art Radio TV building.
yeah, you can definitely do that.
Yeah.
So there is a little bit of anxiety on people's behalf about coming to campus sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think that as we get a building and we're able to solve some of those parking challenges and the access for hours, this collection will really sing. It'll really resonate with people. So.
And if people are watching too, if they have an interest in donating to the collection, they should also contact Barb.
Yes.
From the website or whatever.
The amazing thing about the collection is that it's been built through donations. We have very few acquisition funds that are only dedicated to purchasing student works. So we have
that's kind of cool.
It is. It's amazing. So we've got this wonderful collection of student artwork. And then the larger collection, there's been some instances of purchases throughout the years, but by and large, it's donor driven. And so, back in 1900, we had a group of duplicate specimens from the Smithsonian, and then there was kind of a real push for preserving Native American culture that was here, and so there's a lot of Native artifacts, and then also pioneering artifacts in the 30s, and it didn't really turn to fine art and culture until the 40s, and then with 2 key gifts from Frey Dana and then another one from Stella Duncan, that really founded the collection on fine art and culture, and we've been building on that ever since.
That's pretty terrific.
It's an amazing collection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Brent, I guess I better move along, and thank you for coming by.
Sure. Can I put in a plug for our next talk? We've got Chris Comer, the Dean of the College of Humanities and Sciences, is going to speak about what happens in your brain as you look at artwork. So he's a wonderful biologist and a neuroscientist, and he's giving a talk on February 19th, which is coming up in the Montana Theater at 7 p.m. And that's on our website if anybody wants
Nice.
to check that out. So.
And don't forget our media assistance grants. You know, if you want MCAT to record it, if that's okay with everyone.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you could fill out that form online at MCAT.org.
And get it recorded.
somebody would go and record it.
Oh, that's
for
fantastic. Well, thanks for having me
Hey,
on
you
the
know
show. I
what?
appreciate it.
You make your meeting at 5.
Yeah, I'll make it out there. Thanks very much,
Oh, you're
Joel.
welcome. And stay tuned. There's more coming. You know, a fella's here to talk about a Mule Deer Foundation. That's Trace Manning. And I didn't even know there was a mule deer. I mean, everyone thinks of Rocky Mountain elk. So stick with us, and you'll learn more about mule deer in the next segment of Missoula Live.
I'm Montana Hope.
I am Montana Hope.
I am Montana Hope.
For the last 30 years, the Montana Hope Project has been granting wishes to Montana children who face life-threatening illnesses.
I'm Montana Hope.
To make a donation and help their wishes come true, please visit montanahope.org.
Come on, guys. Rolling? Good. When hiking in bear country like this, it's important to remember your essentials, like bear spray and knowing how to use it. Liam! Where's my bear spray?
I put it in the bottom of the pack.
I didn't mean... How am I supposed to get it quickly?
When adventuring in bear country, remember, bring bear spray and know how to use it. Hike in groups, make noise, and don't run. Be bear aware.
Okay, we're back. We were back. Oh, we're still back. Oh, my banner's going nowhere. So we're going to hold it up. Tracy Manning is here representing, surprise, the Mule Deer Foundation. Oh, and I see you're a chapter, the Dark Horn chapter of Missoula, Montana. So I guess we got that across. Welcome. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
So tell people, what is the Mule Deer Foundation all about?
Mule Deer Foundation was developed in 1988, and their funds go towards specific things that the mule deer habitat and different stuff. Most people don't know mule deer are declining and stuff, and so we're trying to do more for them to bring them back up.
Yeah. Is it, also like a hunting organization?
There is hunters, but, there's a lot of non-hunters. We have people on our organization that absolutely don't hunt, that they love doing something for the deer.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I was telling you earlier, right, that it was summers ago, because behind my house was a 100-year-old orchard, and it was knocked down to widen the Orange Street Bridge. I was coming to work one day and just saw, like in there. But it was one of these years, I think it was 98 or 97, that 2 mule deer took up residence in the orchard for the whole summer. And nobody went back there. There was no reason, not to pick the apples. It was too soon. And there were 4 cherry trees as well. But, I didn't think about them that much. And I associate a mule deer more with the eastern side of Montana.
Right.
I don't know if that's accurate.
Well, it is and it's not. Mule deer, they like the higher climate, the higher elevations and stuff. You usually find your white-tailed deer around the bottoms, the river bottoms, and the lower lands, and the mule deer up in the higher elevations.
Interesting. So they would be attracted to the mountains rather than the plains
right.
of the east side.
But they still live over there in the plains because they're, they don't have as big as mountains as we do over here, the elevation. But they live in the brush and the desert and stuff. They do really well there too.
Do people see them in Missoula as much? Because what do they call it? The urban-rural interface, wildlife interface.
Right.
Where there's bear up in rattlesnake. That's a big issue. And then some summers and fall, people are like, "There's too many deer around." Too many collisions with cars being, I think, the primary concern.
Yeah, there is mule deer in town. Our son lives over by the Coke plant.
Oh yeah, on 3rd.
On 3rd. And it's really funny. He sees mule deer around his house, but no whitetail. And we live over on Sentinel Street, over by Patty Canyon.
Right.
And all we have is whitetail.
Isn't that funny?
So it's like, so why are the mule deer in the center of town and the whitetail are out on the
Yeah.
outskirts of it.
The pair that lived in the orchard, you know, that orchard is right by the Dinsmore irrigation ditch. So it was kind of, I thought maybe they had come down through the ditch, you know, and thought it was shady and quiet in there. But, you guys have an event coming up, and I want to underscore that. The Dark Horn chapter. I like that.
Yeah.
How'd you guys pick the name?
Oh, we just, as a committee, we all threw our heads together and all brought different ideas back, and one guy had the Dark Horn as one of his ideas, and so everybody liked it, and we decided to call it Dark Horn chapter.
Well, you guys are having probably your pretty big fundraiser, right? Is this the big event for the year?
It is. This is our going to be our second year with the Dark Horn chapter.
Right.
There is other chapters. There's the Western chapter, and they're up towards Alberton, St. Regis, Superior, up in that area.
Okay.
And then we also have the Sapphire chapter, which is down in the Bitterroot, Stevensville, Hamilton.
Sure.
And yes, so this will be our second banquet, and it's February 28th at the Hilton.
Easy to remember. It's the last day of February this year.
It is, yeah.
Hilton Garden Inn, and people know that is a pretty good venue. They have. I've been to a few, fundraisers and whatnot, and it's a classy joint. And if there's a dinner there, it's usually a pretty good dinner. Oh, you guys are having that?
Yep, we're having dinner.
Right.
You know, doors open at 5. You know, we have no host bar, social. We have a lot of games. We have
raffles, games, silent auction,
live auction. Just to mention one of the games that's really important to us, we call it the mule.
Okay.
Game, which you see my hat, you know.
Yeah, I noticed that before.
Well, in that game, we have these medallions.
Oh yeah.
And
wow, this is solid.
We have 100 of those.
Oh, here's the robotic camera.
And
you want to get a close up? Probably doesn't care. All right, so this is really solid, and you have 100 of them. Is it silver content?
No.
Okay.
And what we do on this game is why this is so important to a lot of us. We really hope this game does well. We hope all the games do well, but this game we really hope goes well. This game, so if we raise $1,000, Midway USA, I don't know if everybody has seen that on the sports channel, Larry Potterfield.
Yeah.
He matches whatever we make at the banquet. So if we make $1,000, he matches that $1,000. And all that money comes back to Missoula for a youth kids shooting program.
Nice.
So if it's a 4-H function, you know, some established shooting program, they can take and put in for that money.
Kids should learn shooting safety. I think anyone would be like,
nowadays,
well, yes.
You see what's going on, you know.
And this is pretty inexpensive for a good cause. The banquet ticket order I'm looking at has adult meal and membership in the Mule Deer Foundation, $65 per person. Guests are active members, so if you're already a member, it's $30, and then for youngsters, 12 and under, 15.
The couples are $95.
Okay.
And then the single person coming is $65. So the meals are $30 plus the membership is a $35 membership. So yes.
And tell people more like what activities the foundation engages in.
Well, you know, we do a lot, you know, to help the deer. I mean, like if you get a fire, it burns up a lot of winter range. And the main food source that the mule deer live off of is a bush called bitterbrush. And so that burns off, then we take and get some money and we go in there and replant that.
No kidding.
Yeah, you can plant it by seed or you can plant it by seedlings. And I've done both. And we build in areas where there might not be a very good water source around. We'll put in water guzzlers. And
What
people-
are those? What are goes with
They're
them?
just a great big old water barrel that fits down in the ground. And as the rain comes and stuff, it gathers in there.
So it's like a
and
catch
captures
basin sort of for
all
it.
that water.
Oh,
yeah.
that's great. And the animals figure out
And the
this
animals
is where
figure-
it is.
Yeah, and people don't realize, it's just not the deer benefiting from that. Even the bitterbrush. I mean, the birds make a little nest in the
Sure.
bitterbrush and stuff. So, and then we do prescribed burns, help with that to wipe out the weeds so the new grass can come up. And
Yeah. Oh, that's a lot. And so many people are familiar with Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. I think a mule deer needs to get a little in the consciousness of people's minds too.
I mean, they're a great organization. They're doing the same
course.
thing and stuff. And
But you just say something about animals and people, oh, the Rocky Mountain elk. No, this is the Darkhorn chapter of the Mule Deer Foundation.
And I still run into people daily that say, oh, Mule Deer Foundation, I didn't know there was such a thing.
Me neither, because I always,
just
like I said,
talking
I
to you.
thought of it like as an Eastern Montana phenomenon, or
Yeah.
like a plains animal. And you
Right.
came in and said, no, you're totally wrong. They like the elevation.
Yeah.
The whitetail, it might like the bottom lands and so
yeah.
on. I can't remember, Tracy, if I asked you if there was a website for the Darkhorn chapter.
Well, not far as the Darkhorn chapter. I mean, they can go on the muledeer.org,
Okay.
and we have a national.
Oh, look, Scott's showing it.
So, yeah.
And through it,
there
you
we
can
go.
find some of
You
this
can find
information.
some different information and stuff. And
Oh my gosh, I better look at the time. I'm just going to remind our viewers that this event to help the Mule Deer Foundation is at the end of February. It's February 28th at the Hilton Garden Inn, and it starts at 5 p.m. And is it okay to give the phone number?
yeah.
Or you want the
can
web-
give
the Gmail?
Christine's
Yeah.
their contact ticket information.
So you can call Christine if you're interested in helping, and the number is, of course, 406-214-4837. Or you could write to Arctic Wolf 33, but who's going to remember that? I don't know. I'd be like, what? But okay, write it down. arcticwolf33@gmail.com.
The important thing is please don't wait until
Yeah,
the
you need
banquet
to
night
know.
because I mean we got to give the caterer
Yeah.
on Wednesday a rough number, and then they'll call or we give them our number, and then we'll give them a rough number on Thursday. But if you wait to buy your ticket at the door, I'm not guaranteeing you'll probably won't
Yeah,
get a
right. You'll
meal.
be eating table scraps and be like, oh,
Yeah.
you over here. No, I mean, logistically, that's a real problem. So,
But
all
we-
right, I better move along. Tracy, thank you so much.
Thank you so
for
much.
popping in. And there are, well, I know there's one guest out there, but I think there's two if the kids came from media arts in the public schools. So next up is probably Anna. I don't want to make any guesses, and you're going to learn about Healthy Start for kids and moms and dads here in Missoula. So stay with us on this edition of Missoula Live.
Hi, Mom. How are you today?
Oh, I'm fine. How's Chelsea?
Well, she's doing okay. She is struggling, but she's going to be all right. The reason I came to talk to you today is about her safety.
What do you mean?
Well, we need to talk about the way you're storing your medications.
What's wrong with the way I store my medication? I've been doing it for years.
I know, but there's a better, safer way. A way that we can keep them locked up to keep our kids safe.
Proper use, proper storage, proper disposal. Choices matter, Missoula.
Child abuse is more common in Montana than people may realize. I'm Montana Attorney General Tim Fox. You have the power to report suspected child abuse. Call 1-866-820-KIDS.
This message is brought to you by the Montana Attorney General's Office, the Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services, and Northwestern Energy.
And we're back with Anna Semple. She is representing Healthy Start Missoula. Thanks for coming over.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, when I called you, it had 258 number like it was county.
Yeah, we are. So I work
Okay.
with the Missoula Forum for Children and Youth, and we are an office in the County Grants and Community Programs
Okay,
office.
I got it. I see. I didn't know whether you were associated with the health department because of the Healthy Start program.
Yeah, we work really closely with the health department on a lot of our work. But
Interesting. So can you tell people about the Healthy Start program?
Yeah, so Healthy Start Missoula is a council of early childhood service providers that are in Missoula. So we have a whole range of nonprofits and government agencies that work with young children, ages 0 to 8.
Nice.
And we work together to do community-wide projects to help promote healthy childhood and prevent child abuse and neglect, help prevent anything that would cause negative outcomes for kids.
Yeah, and someone had come, you know, from the health department. You might know the formal name of the program. The program was like a pre and postnatal care program. And the outcomes were pretty amazing. I was telling Scott about it only this afternoon, where I think it was a visiting nurse program, right? And it was for some months before the birth of the child and some months after, maybe till the kid was 2 years old. And the outcomes for this group, compared to the group that did not have such visitation, was stunning. I mean, you would think, how could those possibly be related? Like lower incarceration rates, higher secondary, tertiary education attainments. I mean, just crazy stuff that you would think there's no way influencing, you know, a preborn child, a postborn child, this was really going to have this amazing outcome, and yet it seems scientifically true that it did.
It sounds like nurse-family partnership, probably.
Yeah, that's what it was.
We work with them. We actually have a whole home visiting committee of people, programs who run home visiting programs around town, and it is pretty amazing the work that goes on and the programs that are available for
and
parents.
And the strange effectiveness. I mean, I guess, you know, when kids are young and their brains are forming, it makes a lot of difference what happens.
Yeah, definitely. The forum works to promote or prevent underage substance abuse, and Healthy Start is great for that, because if we're working with kids and parents when the kids are at a very young age, then you can really promote that and prevent substance abuse more effectively than waiting till they're older.
Yeah. And if somebody is watching, like the casual guardian or parent or something, they're like, well, what are they talking about? Healthy Start sounds healthy. What does it mean to them? How could they access this program?
We have a brand new website that we just developed, and basically we took all of the services that are offered in Missoula, and we're working on expanding that to be even more inclusive, and put them in healthystartmissoula.org. And so you can access
it looks
right on
great.
TV. It's really easy to use. You can just click on the different categories. If you're pregnant or have a new infant, you can look at the pregnancy and babies category. Special needs, if you have a child that maybe has a disability or is really struggling in ways that seem unique. But it's for all parents of all different children. And it's pretty easy to use.
Each one of those squares that we saw on the website represents a particular avenue of help that someone could reach out for.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. And then when you click on the square, it presents you with a whole list, like a directory of resources.
Right. Because sometimes parents worry. They say, oh, my kid, you should be walking by now. You know, there's all these timetables of development that sometimes just create unnecessary worry, I'm sure. And at other times are good indicators that, well, maybe something. I remember friends of mine, their child didn't talk like when they thought the child should. And they had help from the Child Development Center or something at Fort Missoula. They're like, well, no, actually don't worry, and this, that, and the other thing. Very reassuring, and gave them guidance, you know, that probably made them better parents in dealing with that situation. And
both that Child Development Center and Nurse Family Partnership that we've talked about are both in the website. So it's great that you're bringing them up.
So it is like the village. It's taking a village, and the village apparently is electronically aggregating at the Healthy Start website.
Yeah.
Should people just Google it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Google
so you're in
great.
Missoula, and you could just say, Google Healthy Start Missoula. They can phone, because some people don't have access to computer. I mean, a lot of times we talk like broadband is everywhere, and it's not exactly the case. I mean, the library is a great testament to that. They have like a place, you know, where people can log on because they don't have internet at home. It is so busy.
That's great.
It's pricey. You know, internet at home is like $60 a month.
It is, yeah.
So can they phone? Is that okay?
They can give me a call, yeah, if they
Okay.
have questions. That's not a problem. For the most part, we also have these resource guides that I brought in.
Oh,
and
yeah, and I
it's
had
the
seen them in the building earlier this year.
Yeah, we're
or
scattering
last
them
year.
around town in doctor's offices and oil change places, anywhere where
Yeah.
families might be hanging out waiting. It's the exact same information, it's just in a print form. So calling me is fine. If you see one of the superhero kid magazines, Best Beginnings
Oh,
for Missoula
yep.
Kids, yeah. It's the exact same information in print form. So we have a lot of avenues that people can use to find the info.
This is great. This is really detailed. It has in an immunization clinic, learning and belonging preschool lab. Interesting. And everyday words, so that instead of being all angry, you can use very positive words. Oh, and stuff about the Lifelong Learning Center, Dickinson.
Yeah.
And stuff I've never heard of. The Lotus Project. Wonderful. It focuses on pregnancy, childbirth, postpartum education. Yeah, this is really great. Lists all the elementary schools inside. So this, as Anna mentioned, you could find around town. Are you going to leave those here?
I would love to leave them.
Okay, so then you can find some at MCAT too.
And if any agencies want some of these for their office, I'm happy to deliver bundles. We have 6,000 of them we're distributing right now. So we've gotten rid of over half, but we've got a ways to go.
That's 3,000 more. Yeah, you're right. So if there's waiting rooms out there too, you know, dental, medical, pediatrician, and you guys are watching, tell them the phone number. I know it's 258. I forgot the rest.
Yeah, 258-3023.
3023, and then you could get them. Nice of the Missoulian. It looks like they probably published it.
Yeah, we had some funding through the state that we used to publish it, and then the Missoulian did help out with the printing and gave us a deal. So
nice.
They did a great job.
Okay, they gave a deal, Missoulian. It wasn't like donated exactly, but a deal. Well, anything you want to add? I know that Noelle told me there's 2 groups out there.
Yeah, just really quickly, I also coordinate the Youth Development Network through the forum, and we are hosting a training called Understanding the Montana Behavioral Initiative, and it's led by Carol Ewan from the Missoula County Public Schools. That's at 11:30 to 1 p.m. at the public library in the large meeting room. And basically that's just kind of a description and understanding how the behavior management systems that the school has are set up. For anyone who works with schools or possibly parents that are really trying to understand how it's working. It's really designed for service providers, but it's free and open to the public.
Right. So if parents do have a kid that's often getting, what would you call it, progressive discipline, they might be like, what the heck is going on? How does this work?
Yeah, and there's a lot of language that once you're familiar with why they're saying certain things or how they're speaking with your kid, then it's a little easier to understand later.
Well, that's pretty interesting. So it's going beyond the iron curtain of school discipline.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, I think they have an interesting system set up where they are trying to, have some universal ways of dealing with kids, but then some specialized things that they set up for kids that are in need of it. So I think they're really making a big effort, and Carol does a great job explaining it.
All right, Anna, thank you so much for popping by, for leaving the Best Beginnings for Missoula Kids, and for working on Healthy Start. Good for you.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, there's 2 more groups. I got to get them in 17 minutes. I'm going to do it. So I guess this is going to be 30 seconds, and we'll be right back on this edition of Missoula Live.
Operator 901, where's the emergency?
127 Brynmere.
Okay, what's going on there?
I'd like to order a pizza for delivery.
Ma'am, you've reached 911. This is an emergency line.
Large with half pepperoni, half mushroom.
You know you've called 911. This is an emergency line.
Do you know how long it'll be?
Okay, ma'am, is everything okay over there? Do you have an emergency or not?
Yes.
And you're unable to talk because...
Right.
Okay, is there someone in the room with you? Just say yes or no.
Yes.
Okay, it looks like I have an officer about a mile from your location. Are there any weapons in your house?
No.
Can you stay on the phone with me?
No. See you soon. Thank you.
This is a filmmaker. You can often recognize them from their crazy eyes brought on by long hours of editing. Sometimes they carry cameras. These people present ideas that are considered by many to be dangerous, subversive, even innovative. Beware of gatherings where many filmmakers might congregate. Progressive storytelling and interesting subject matter may be present. You have been warned.
Resident thing. Oh, sorry. I was just saying that the promo for the Big Sky Documentary Film Festival had the old Bresnan name because they've turned to charter. Anyway, Michael Workman is here to talk about the Big Sky Documentary Film Festival. It is playing through February the 16th, so there's lots of opportunity to go down once you see this show. And it's a wonderful thing to go to. Welcome. Thanks for coming over.
Yeah, thanks for having me out here.
Yeah, so pump it, promo it. What do you want to tell people about it?
So this year has been by far our biggest year yet. I'm not just saying that to just plug it. We've had like more submissions than we've ever had before. We had like 1,400 films submitted to the festival to watch, and we're playing around 150 different films.
You know, what a ratio, of goodness. Like if people say, well, did anyone vet this evening before I went? And it was like, like 100 to 1 or something,
Yeah, so it's around 7 to 8% out of the open call actually end up getting in. So it's a really stiff competition.
No doubt.
So it's the quality is really high, and it's good. It's a really good.
Have you been going? Have you been enjoying it? I'm going to go this week. I did it last weekend.
Yeah, I've been around the whole time. I was able to catch our opening film, Going Clear, which was the Alex Gibney documentary on Scientology, which was packed. We sold out, so it was really cool.
Because celebrities are associated with Scientology, and it makes it more like, what is that about?
Yeah.
And I think people think, wow, if I become a Scientologist, will I become a movie star? Like, there could be some correlation or something.
Yeah, or they keep you in or whatever.
I saw pictures, for instance, on a Facebook, and this is not to discourage people at home from going. It's just like, because the first one is free, right?
Yeah.
But it was packed, like, it was, the line was like from the Wilma to the corner, where the Mexican restaurant is.
Yeah.
Like a rock band was in there or something.
We sold out for that film, and there's going to be some more films hopefully where we get crowds that big too.
And there's other aspects of the film festival too that people could attend, right? Are there panels and stuff still going on about like making documentary films?
Yeah, so we have a doc shop that we've had for about 4 years now. What doc shop is a 5-day event that starts on Monday and ends on Friday, and it's a series of panels with industry and other filmmakers who give talks on making documentary. This year it's focused on distribution, so a lot of the talks are about how to distribute your film and what to do with your film, about cutting the right deals. And then we also, one of the big things that's part of Doc Shop is our Big Sky Pitch, which is a pitch session where filmmakers submit their ideas, and then we select them, and then they go up in front of a panel of industry people. People from
like a Shark Tank type deal.
Yes, and they have 15 minutes to basically defend their film and try to get some type of funding. So the people on the panels are people from Al Jazeera, CNN. We've had POV in the past, and ITBS.
That's a PBS thing.
Yeah,
so IBTS also kind of feeds into public broadcasting.
Yeah, so there's all these intense industry people basically helping people through their films, or in some cases giving them funding. And it's always a really cool thing to watch. Yeah. And that's happening at the UC Theater on Thursday.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And it is like a remarkable thing. Like I remember, Doug Hawes Davies, who kind of started the Big Sky Documentary Film Festival years ago. I was part of a nonprofit movie theater called The Crystal. Yeah. And Doug had that idea back then. Everyone was like, oh, nonsense, no one will come to that. And that kind of thing. It was very radical. But how technology has changed is pretty amazing too, right?
Totally, yeah.
Like back in the day of MCAT, like when MCAT first opened, to have even near high quality equipment, giant, bulky, this thing that came off your shoulder, and the camera was big as an elephant's ear, and so on.
Yeah.
So that instances of people engaging in media making was more rarefied. Now people are making, like Christian made a little documentary about our first Friday art exhibit on his phone. He like took a picture on his phone, the movie, he edited on the phone and posted it from the phone, right? And it was like, and it all happened in like 12 minutes.
Yeah.
so that technology has changed so much. I think it's fascinating that lots of different groups can make movies now.
Yeah.
And I mean, documentaries still cost money though, right? You got to have a crew, you have to travel sometimes. So it's not like, but it's not $3 million, is it?
Right, yeah. No, I mean, now it's with the rise of digital, it's so cheap now. Almost anybody can make a documentary that looks great and sounds great. So that makes an interesting dynamic as far as submissions go too, because on our part it's almost sometimes harder to tell what's good and what's not, because something can look really good and sound really good, but it's not necessarily there as like a film. So
and I wanted to give people a little concrete idea too of what the festival is like. Like Noelle, who does morning show at MCAT, and she's marching people around for this show. She had said last night she saw a movie about music in Cambodia. In between the wars, as it were, that from the French occupation in the 50s to the horrific Khmer Rouge and Pol Pot, she said it was pretty amazing. Like, how many people have thought of like Cambodian jazz music of the 60s, for instance? And it kind of gives people an idea of the specificity sometimes of the films, and how historic they are, and how engaging they can be too,
and how unique all these stories are. We have so many films of like subject matter that you would never even think of, and a lot of times they're really like humanizing films of these kind of obscure or almost quirky subject matters end up having a really serious or informational undertone of like a bigger idea.
Movement in society, something like that. Remember years ago, a friend of mine was so captivated by a movie, a documentary in the Big Sky Documentary Film Festival that was about a Montanan. I think a Montanan was transgendered. And it was found out in the course of the movie that this individual was like the love child of Orson Welles. And I can't think of the mom, but it was so fantastic. Like they said, when the audience was watching the motion, the documentary, they gasped. Like people were gasping, like, no, oh my God, and that kind of thing.
The audience engagement here is it's always so fun to, I mean, it's so great to see films like this, and especially during the film festival, people are just so invested and excited in the films. You can just like hear the emotions and feel it.
And a lot of people like that movie because it dealt with someone from Montana. And they were like identifying, and all that.
Montana films are always big, and we always try our best to, support Montana filmmakers and Montana films.
I guess I got to go soon because the maps people are here to talk about, like, if they got like 5 minutes, that's the way it always goes. The film festival is at the Wilma Theater. People can't miss the Wilma Theater. It's 131 South Higgins. It's just on the north side of the river. And the films are playing starting at 4 p.m. on the weekdays. I can't remember.
So on the weekdays they start at 4, which is our Schoolhouse Doc special, which is it's a special price for parents bringing their kids along, and so they're all age appropriate. And so they start then, and then they go until about 10 at night, all through the week. And then we start at 10 a.m. on the weekends. And this Monday, the 16th, we'll start at 10 a.m. too, because it's a holiday.
And in the weekend, will they show the best of?
Oh, yeah. So at the last day on Monday the 16th, we show the award winners. So we have a competition in different categories. And that awards party, or those awards, will be announced on Friday. And then you can see those films screen again on the last day on Monday. And we'll also be playing films that have sold out. So if you missed a film, then you can hopefully check it out to see it on the last day.
And people have got to go to the website around town. I think, was it the Independent that was printing the booklet, outlining
so we have
all
booklets
the films.
around, and they're all over the Wilma. If you go to a film, pick one up. And then you can also check out bigskyfilmfest.org, and you can see all of our selections there.
Well, Michael, thanks so much for coming. I wish I could talk to you longer, but it wouldn't be fair to the maps people. And you sure you don't want to plug your documentary, right? It was about local artist Jack Metcalf.
So I made a short documentary on Jack Metcalf that's in an Audience Awards competition right now.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't realize that. One of our board members works at Audience Awards, Linwood Fields.
Yeah, I know Linwood. So you can vote on it on a variety of films on their website, audienceawards.com. And there's just a bunch of, it's in a competition of nonfiction films about Montana artists.
Cool.
So I encourage everybody to check out all of the films.
Yeah, Audience Awards is cool.
Yeah.
All right, we better go. Thank you, Michael. Right. And then up next is a group of kids coming from MAPS, which is Media Arts in the Public Schools, Hamilton. We're going to be right back because we only have 5 minutes with them. I'm sorry. So stay tuned.
Whenever you cough or sneeze, cover your mouth. Do so, please.
Hey, I'm Governor Steve Bullock.
And I'm Jeff Bridges, and we're here to wish MAPS a happy 10th anniversary.
MAPS Film Institute's been doing great things, not only throughout the state of Montana, but it's gone far beyond. So happy anniversary, MAPS.
Yeah, and thanks for what you're doing on behalf of all the kids here.
For more information or to contribute, visit mapsmediainstitute.com.
Yeah.
This is all the information we have.
So oh, we're back. Okay, so I've just been handed Wyatt Thomas.
Yep.
They just handed me this from MAPS, which stands for Media Arts in the Public Schools. This program is available to high school students in Hamilton. And our own Christian Ackerman, who's our producer, trainer, mentor here, also works at MAPS. Welcome, gentlemen. Thank you for being so patient.
No, thank you for having us.
Yeah. So you guys want to talk about MAPS a little bit? Like, you guys are in the program, right?
Yeah, we're both students.
Yeah.
4 years, both, right?
Yeah, so we're fourth year there.
Fourth year, both of us.
Yeah.
He's a senior, I'm a junior. Just talk about the MAPS program and how it's helped us really broaden our creative filming ability, I guess, and how we've kind of started. We actually started a Kickstarter. We're doing a Kickstarter. I'm not sure when it starts, but it's 30 days, and we're going to try and raise $70,000.
$70,000?
Yeah.
What are you going to do with it?
We're going to use it to, I'm not actually sure what we're using it for, but we're going to use it just to broaden our MAPS range, and we're actually starting a new program about business, a business program in the like
Oh, interesting. Like the entertainment business stuff, or
just like business, just like personal finance, and just learning how to do things in the world and establish yourself. So it could be interesting.
Well, do you want to tell people about movies you have made too?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Right now we're currently working on like a movie called Banana Man, and
it's
you know, we got our whole MAPS crew working on it. Like all the students there have to pitch in and help make it. And
what's the movie about?
It's about a serial killer named Banana Man, but he kills people with bananas.
Okay.
And,
he's all dressed up in his banana suit.
A big banana suit. We should have brought it because I would have worn it.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool.
But yeah, just messing around, making movies. Everybody, it's a really great program actually because it's a really chilled out. Everybody, just big family, helps everybody else out, and it's not like going to school really. It's kind of like going home after school. A big family helping everybody out, and just film some movies and lay back and edit and just joke around.
I've seen pictures. I've never been down there, which is pathetic. I should go because I've seen that you guys moved into a new facility.
Yeah, it's first year.
Yeah.
It's a lot nicer just not having to share with anybody else and being able to roam around and stuff. It's great. I mean, there's snacks you get there and there's drinks and everything.
Yeah, I've seen it's got like a whole kitchen and stove because it was like from a church or something.
Something like that.
I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked really cool. And I also was told a story by Christian of how you guys cleaned up one day. He was so touched and everything. Well, I want to fill in the audience just a little bit more about MAPS, that it is like an after-school program for kids in the Hamilton School District. Says he who has 2 minutes left. This is the website, and you could just Google like MAPS Hamilton, I think, to learn more about it. And as Wyatt was saying, they're going to undertake a fundraising campaign through a Kickstarter program, and there'll be more information probably on the website, right, about when it's up and going. But the funds will be used to continue the after-school program so that kids in Hamilton can use this technology and learn more about filmmaking, and they're going to learn more about personal finance and so on in the fall. Yeah. That sounds really kind of cool. Do you know how many kids, I guess I could interview Christian, but he's not here. Yeah. Like, how many kids are in the program?
Well, there's actually 4 different classes right now. In filming, we have 30?
Yeah, like 25, 30.
25, 30 kids. And then there's music, which is actually cool. They're all recording new demos for themselves.
Oh, with Tim Kohlberg?
Yeah,
Is he teaching it?
Yeah, it's a really professional program, really advanced. In the last 2 years, I think it's been going on, 2 or 3 years. But there's about a dozen, or no, not even that, how much? 5, 7 people?
Yeah.
And there's technology, and then design, and I don't actually know. I don't go to those classes.
Yeah.
But I just
and then do you guys have to pay a fee for it? Is it free?
No, it's totally free.
Yeah.
You show up. I mean, it's free. You can borrow cameras. I actually borrowed a camera this weekend and just shot some stuff on it. Yeah, you just sign out, release form. Everything's free. Go in, take a camera, card, battery.
Right.
So
yeah, it sounds like a super worthy cause too, right?
And it's not even just Hamilton. It's anybody in the valley, really. Like, I'm from Darby. We've got kids from Corvallis, Stevensville.
Yeah.
Even some people from Missoula will drive down.
So the appeal of it too is also that it's bringing technology into rural areas where the school district may not be as up to speed, you know, as like concentrated Seattle, Portland, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. It's because you're not going to have a local school that's just going to give out cameras, HD cameras to people.
Right.
I mean, you just show up, really say I'm here for a camera.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
So you go.
Right.
Yeah, one project I know we were trying to get started with was this Maps mobile thing.
Oh yeah.
And it's basically like a van where we have all the latest cutting edge technology, and we could just go around the state and provide our services and help spread our creativity and work on different projects that people will hire us for.
Yeah, and that's another business model of MAPS, right? You guys have done public service announcements for state of Montana. Governor Bullock has been, and his wife has been in certain public service announcements. I'm looking at the time. I don't know what those guys think. But, that it really engages you guys with some high-level activity in the state.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, that van, I mean, we'll hopefully trick it out. We'll get all the,
a graphic.
Picture, yeah, sweet.
Excellent.
But it's just, we'll hopefully use the Kickstarter blowback money if we end up making that $70,000. We put design equipment in there and computers for editing, cameras, everything in there just to transport, even if we do field trips and stuff, just to do different activities.
It'll make a big impact in some rural schools to have high-tech equipment and people who know how to teach it to them.
Definitely.
All right, I got to wrap up. They say I want to thank you both, Wyatt and Thomas, for coming. I want to thank you for watching this edition of Missoula Live. If you know of a group you want to see them on this program, give me a call at MCAT. The number is 542-6228. For MCAT, I'm Joel Bair. Thanks for watching.